weird when somebody is constantly analyzing you. Like, I love my dad, you know, but he actually studied under Sigmund Freud. And he is like completely obsessed with analyzing, obsessed. Like, you know, at Christmas, he dresses up like Santa Claus, but instead of going, ho, 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 Merry Christmas, he goes, oi, oi, oi. You don't have problems. Anyway, one day I was on stage performing, but little did I know that my father had followed me to the club, and he was sitting in the audience. And to make it worse, I was doing shtick about him. Look, listen, it's weird, you know, when, you know, people pretend to be something that they're so obviously not, you know. Like, black people pretending to be Chinese, gay people pretending to be straight. You know, what we are is in our DNA. Like, my dad is so obviously Jewish, it's what he knows. But one day, he just kind of picked another religion out of thin air, you know? He was like, I know, let's be Catholic. The Pope's a little mashugana, but at least he wears the yarmulke. So he raised us Catholic, and he didn't just raise us Catholic, he raised us Irish Catholic. And he forced us to take Irish river dancing lessons. I'll tell you, watching my dad, you know, Irish river dance is kind of like watching Jackie Mason if he was on Dancing with the Stars. Oi, my neck! Personally, if you want my opinion, then I'm going to give it to you whether you like it or not. I don't understand why ethnic people have to dance in these Michigan places like on a river. Or play the fiddle on the roof. Why can't we just dance in the ground like normal people? Fiddly diddly ah. I'm sorry, did you feel that? I apologize. Normally the theater sets up a Yiddish phlegm barrier to protect the front row. Anyway, I finished my set, and afterwards my father was waiting for me outside. Francis, what dangerous, foolish things you say on stage, Feuerstick. And you're revealing things to people about being Jewish strangers? Anti-Semitism is worse than ever. You have no idea what we went through. How I survived? I have no idea. You remember what happened to me on the bridge between Austria and Switzerland? Yeah, well, by some miracle, I made it over the bridge to Switzerland, and then eventually to France. And after some time, I joined the partisans as a medic. Terrible things I see at the beach at Dunkirk. Nazis, torturing and murdering, but what I never forget is having to remove a still suckling baby from its dead mother's breast. The milk's still warm, but we had no supplies. I couldn't save anyone. I passed the infant into the arms of another woman nearby, and I decided I would take my own life before letting one of those pigs murder me. I threw myself into the English Channel, and I begged God to take me in his arms. Shema Israel, no Elohim, no Echad. I let myself go under. I tried to drown myself. But Daddy, I feel like we're still drowning. The Holocaust is over. Holocaust? What Holocaust? According to some people, like my new neighbor, it never even happened. Yeah, just my luck, a denier, a Holocaust denier moved in next door to me. Thank God your mother isn't alive to have to see this. Like so many these days, he blames all the problems in the Middle East on Israel. And says that Israel takes up too much room. What a sugar kachel. No, really, that little country, the size of Florida. And what's worse, Francis, is many of our own people blame Israel. Where do they think they're going to run to when anti-Semitism rises again? The Beverly Hills Hilton? No, really, where are they going to go to be saved? Trump Towers? Admittedly, the security is fantastic there, but I guarantee you, Mr. Trump himself would agree that the IDF trumps it. Daddy, I'm going to book you as my opening act. Francis, you are very lucky. Do not take your life for granted. Very lucky. But there are so many things that you have that we didn't. But my brother Joey wasn't so lucky. My father had him institutionalized for schizophrenia. Joey came by his paranoia honestly. All of my siblings have identity issues. You remember my sister Magdalena? Well, Magdalena became an eye surgeon just like my father and married an anti-Semite. You remember her twin Mary? Mary became a Freudian psychiatrist and embraced an Asian identity. And this is actually true. She married a man named Shampoo Nut. And she still dabbles in food sculpture. Actually, one day she won an award for making a sculpture of Freud's head from Wiener Schnitzel. My father eventually retired and moved back to his native Vienna, where he lives as a Catholic. And you know, one interesting thing about the Freuds, although Sigmund Freud did not believe that you could recreate your childhood, I learned that his daughter Anna did. So in an attempt to recreate mine, to write my life, I decided to rewrite my life story. So I phoned my father in Vienna to tell him that I wanted to turn our family story into a dramatic play. Yeah, well, the knish hit the fan. He actually threatened to take me to court and sue me. But something pulled me ahead. And on opening night of my play, even though I was panicking, it was as if my grandmother's spirit somehow led me to the stage. And afterwards, a journalist wrote a review in the Jerusalem Report magazine, which is distributed internationally. And it was read by my extended relatives who've been searching for our family for over 45 years, ever since my father had forced us to go underground as Catholics. And my newfound relatives and my siblings, we had this incredible reunion. And my father heard about it, and he wrote me a letter which said, Francis, your courage has given me the strength to renounce my Catholicism. Yesterday I